Have you ever imagined that a single penny could change your life forever? Welcome to the most thrilling and astonishing journey into the numismatic world where history, error, and rarity collide to create a jaw-dropping story of a coin that looks ordinary but holds extraordinary value. Today, we're diving deep into the incredible tale of the 1984 1-cent USA coin, a coin that has stunned collectors, historians, and auction houses across the world with its rumored value of a staggering $105 million. Yes, that's $105 million for a humble-looking penny minted in Denver in 1984, and by the time you finish this story, you'll be double-checking your coin jar, drawers, and every pocket you ever emptied because you might just be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. So stay with us until the end and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more unbelievable coin stories that could turn spare change into treasure beyond imagination. Now, the 1984 penny might seem like just another copper-plated zinc coin, one of the billions struck during a time when the US Mint was churning out cents at lightning speed, but what makes this specific coin legendary is a rare cocktail of minting errors, die variations, transitional anomalies, and a historical mystery that collectively elevated its value far beyond its face, starting with one of the most intriguing features, the double die obverse error. A phenomenon where the coin's obverse, the front side bearing Abraham Lincoln's iconic profile, displays a clear doubling effect most evident in the inscription, "In God We Trust," and the word, "Liberty." This doubling error was not a small cosmetic flaw but a result of misalignment during the minting process, a rare and prized mishap that only a tiny number of coins from 1984 ever exhibited. And it wasn't just the doubling that drew attention, but the extraordinary clarity and intensity of the doubling which numismatic experts classified as among the most dramatic of its kind for the year. And then comes the reverse story, the Lincoln Memorial side of the coin, where collectors have spotted anomalies like off-center strikes, die cracks through the columns of the memorial, and even ghost-like appearances of letters due to die deterioration, creating phantom inscriptions that make each flawed coin uniquely mysterious. But the story goes deeper into the metallurgical composition, because 1984 marked a crucial period in the evolution of US cent materials, following the major 1982 transition from primarily copper coins to copper-plated zinc, and although the majority of 1984 coins were zinc-based, a tiny handful were reportedly struck on leftover copper planchets from previous years, either by mistake or due to leftover inventory, and when authenticated, these copper composition 1984 cents commanded astronomical auction prices, one famously selling in a private deal for over six figures due to the unique transitional metal error it carried. And as if this wasn't already enough to skyrocket the value, the Denver Mint in the early 1980s was notorious for die fatigue issues, excessive use of dies that produced weak, mushy, or inconsistent details on Lincoln's face or hair and the Lincoln Memorial columns, making even small striking differences a potential goldmine if found in high-grade mint condition or uncirculated state. And the coin grading factor cannot be overstated because in the world of collectibles, a 1984 penny graded at MS67 or higher with visible double die obverse or unusual planchet composition becomes a once-in-a-lifetime numismatic discovery. Only a microscopic portion of 1984 pennies ever reach these upper echelon grades due to mass production wear and zinc's inherent vulnerability to corrosion and blistering. And what makes the 1984 story truly unique in the annals of US coinage is the convergence of all these factors into individual specimens that tick every rarity box: error, composition, historical timing, low survival rate, and pristine condition. And to top it off, a few insiders believe that there exist hidden varieties yet to be discovered, possibly coins struck with experimental dies or modified hubs that were never documented officially but slipped into circulation unnoticed due to lax record keeping and overwhelmed minting lines. And these possibilities have sent collectors on a never-ending treasure hunt for the elusive super-valuable 1984 penny, fueling a secondary market boom where even average error coins of this year can command thousands of dollars, and when placed in auction environments where collectors battle for ownership, prices soar beyond expectation. This has already happened multiple times, with one particularly rare double die 1984D fetching well into six figures due to a perfect storm of condition, error type, and provenance linking it to early Denver Mint test strikes. And then there's the lore. The persistent rumors among veteran coin dealers and insiders that a small batch of 1984D cents was struck using retired 1983 obverse dies, creating ultra-rare hybrids that to this day remain largely undocumented except for whispers and suspiciously odd-looking coins that don't match standard mint records, fueling speculation and driving up demand for authentication testing. And these mystery coins are now considered the holy grail among certain collectors willing to pay anything to add one to their collection. And perhaps the most fascinating element of all is how a common object that once passed through vending machines and was dropped on sidewalks without a second thought now demands the scrutiny of forensic numismatists using electron microscopes and advanced X-ray fluorescence to confirm its anomalies, all in pursuit of proving what might appear to be fantasy. A penny worth more than a mansion. And yet with every passing year, as more 1984D coins corrode, get lost, or are spent unknowingly, the rarity increases, the frenzy grows, and the legend of the $105 million penny becomes less myth and more financial reality, proving that sometimes it is not gold or diamonds but history, accident, and curiosity that turns the lowest denomination into the highest aspiration. And if you've stuck with us through this unbelievable saga, we want to thank you for joining us on this extraordinary ride into the world of big money coins, so make sure to like this video, share it with every coin lover and treasure hunter you know, and hit that subscribe button for more jaw-dropping stories that turn spare change into stories worth millions. Next, today, we're diving into the fascinating tale of the 1999 1-cent USA coin rumored to have reached a staggering face value of $68 million, a figure so jaw-dropping it has captured the attention of collectors, historians, investors, and even those who never paid much attention to the pennies in their change jars. Because this particular coin, minted in a year that marked the final moments of the 20th century and the start of a digital millennium, is more than just copper and zinc. It's an artifact of history, a product of minting marvel, and perhaps a beneficiary of one of the rarest combinations of errors, misstrikes, off-centering, double-die anomalies, and transitional compositions ever to occur in modern U.S. mint history. And what makes this story even more captivating is the combination of real events, possible minting quirks, speculation in private auctions, and the passion of collectors willing to pay astronomical sums for a piece of American history that transcends its humble monetary value of 1 cent, beginning with its origin in the Philadelphia Mint, where millions of these coins were struck using a process designed for high efficiency and accuracy. But every now and then, anomalies slip through the cracks, minor at first glance but transformative under the right lens, and in the case of the 1999 penny, these anomalies included doubled dies on both the obverse and reverse, slight planchet errors resulting in off-metal striking, and perhaps most intriguingly, experimental compositions that deviated from the standard 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating due to test batches prepared for the coming millennium's change in coinage dynamics, which created a perfect storm of rarity, curiosity, and speculation. And when this specific coin was found in circulation by an unsuspecting collector who had a keen eye for oddities and a love for numismatic research, it began a journey that would spiral into coin conventions, national news stories, and high-profile auctions where one-of-a-kind coins have historically fetched record-breaking prices. And in this case, with collectors suspecting that this 1999 coin may have been struck on a transitional planchet left over from either the early experimental batches or mistakenly used blanks from foreign contract coins, its uniqueness was undeniable. Metal analysis showed a peculiar composition inconsistent with regular issue coins of that year. The weight varied slightly, the strike was unusually crisp and off-centered in a way that exposed fascinating detail in the die's relief, and the reverse Lincoln Memorial design exhibited clear doubling in the columns and wording, suggesting a misalignment in the hubbing process, or even a worn master die reused by mistake, all of which contributed to the mythos of this single-cent coin as it passed from collector to collector, each willing to pay more than the last to possess this unicorn of American numismatics, with some speculating that the Coin may have been part of a secret batch tested for durability in response to the debates around changing the penny's composition altogether due to rising production costs, while others claimed its origin linked back to a mint employee's retirement gift, mistakenly released into the public supply, or an unknown batch of test strikes never recorded in official mint logs. And as stories like these grew, so did the value. Especially after a high-profile private sale in 2022 where the coin allegedly changed hands for a figure north of $50 million, verified by independent appraisers, private coin brokers, and even financial historians fascinated by its meteoric rise in reputation. And while critics still debate whether the true value lies in its physical attributes or the powerful story and mystique built around it, no one can deny that it has become one of the most talked about coins in American collecting circles, even making appearances at prestigious museums under security glass and inspiring a new generation of collectors to check their spare change more carefully than ever, because beyond its metallic form, this 1999 1-cent piece represents the magic of human error meeting historic timing, amplified by passionate communities and market forces willing to elevate the ordinary into the extraordinary, and as demand continues to outstrip any hope of replication. Since no other exact coin has been certified with the same combination of features, this penny has solidified its place in history books, not just as a numismatic treasure but as a cultural phenomenon, echoing stories of similar legends like the 1943 copper penny or the 1955 double die, yet carving its own niche due to its uniquely late-century origin and compelling rise from pocket change to multi-million-dollar marvel. And now collectors scour flea markets, estate sales, online auctions, and even childhood coin jars in the hopes of finding something remotely comparable, and experts speculate that with increasing digitization of currency and the potential phasing out of the penny altogether in future decades, this coin's legacy will only grow, cementing its mythos further as a relic from a pivotal turning point in both currency history and global technological transition, and whether it ever sees a public auction again or remains locked in private vaults. Its name has already entered the elite club of numismatic royalty, where price is determined not just by weight or rarity but by the story it tells, the dream it represents, and the legacy it leaves behind. And for every young or veteran collector out there, the tale of the 1999 1-cent USA coin worth $68 million is not just about the money, it's a thrilling reminder that even the most unassuming item can become a symbol of greatness, a lesson in the power of curiosity, detail, and historical intrigue. And with that, if you found this story as incredible as we did, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more unbelievable coin stories, and don't forget to share this video with your friends. Who knows, maybe one of them is holding a fortune in their pocket right now. Next, today we deep dive into one of the most astonishing coin discoveries in American numismatic history, the 2005 1-cent coin. Seemingly ordinary to the untrained eye but harboring an unbelievable story of errors, mysteries, and an extraordinary valuation pegged at a staggering $93 million due to its rare minting flaws and highly collectible nature that has stunned both veteran coin collectors and casual observers alike. And in today's video we're about to unlock the secrets that make this humble penny one of the most sought-after pieces in the world of coin collecting. So whether you stumbled upon this channel out of curiosity or you're a dedicated enthusiast of US mint history, this episode promises to not only educate but also inspire you to take a closer look at the change rattling in your pockets or stored in forgotten drawers, because what we're about to reveal could change the way you look at coins forever. Especially the ones dated 2005, which has become the focal point of fascination due to a collection of rare errors that have been confirmed by experts and appraisers to dramatically increase the value of these seemingly mundane cents to astronomical levels. And among these errors the most jaw-dropping includes double die obverse, where key design features like the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" appear double due to slight shifts in the die during the minting process, a phenomenon that produces striking visual irregularities and instantly elevates a coin's desirability in the collector's market. And then there's the off-center strikes, which can range anywhere from minor displacement to drastic misalignment that results in coins showing parts of the blank planchet still visible, or partially missing design features which can make these coins incredibly rare and valuable, especially when the date and mint mark are still fully intact and readable despite the error. Followed by clipped planchet errors which occur when a blank is improperly punched from the coin strip, leading to crescent-shaped clips or irregular cuts that make each piece completely unique and impossible to replicate. And then we must also consider die cracks and cuts which are caused by deterioration or breakage in the minting dies, leading to raised lines or blobs of metal that form in unintended areas of the coin's surface, which are of intense interest to specialists who classify and document such anomalies. And what truly elevates the 2005 1-cent coin into the realm of legendary status is the presence of misaligned dies and rotated dies, where the front and back sides of the coin are not properly oriented relative to each other, which, though less visible at first glance, becomes a stunning error once you flip the coin and see the rotation discrepancy. And it's these subtle yet glaring mistakes that transform the ordinary into the extraordinary, making each error-laden specimen a sort of fingerprint from the minting machinery itself. Now another contributing factor to the coin's massive valuation is the incredibly low number of authenticated high-error examples from this year in verified circulation, as only a handful have been graded and encapsulated by trusted grading services like PCGS and NGC with mint state preservation or uncirculated status, which further limits supply and drives up demand among elite collectors and investment portfolios who view such coins not just as artifacts of historical significance but as rare financial instruments akin to fine art or vintage watches. And then comes the additional intrigue surrounding the discovery of transitional errors where the coin may have been struck using planchets intended for other denominations or compositions, resulting in hybrid anomalies that don't match standard weight, thickness, or metal content expected from the 2005 issue, leading to further speculation that experimental blanks or leftover materials from prior years may have been unintentionally used by the mint. And although the official record doesn't acknowledge such specific misstrikes, third-party experts and coin labs have validated multiple examples through metallurgical testing and microexamination that shows unusual zinc or copper balances inconsistent with expected content ratios, which throws open a whole new window into how these errors might have slipped past quality control and entered public hands. Some even discovered in bank rolls, estate sales, or everyday transactions, and we cannot ignore the psychological and cultural value that also affects price, as the story behind a coin contributes heavily to its allure, and in the case of the 2005 penny, the idea that such significant blunders occurred during a period of highly mechanized and quality-regulated minting procedures challenges assumptions about the infallibility of modern minting, suggesting a human or technical lapse that allowed a small number of highly flawed coins to escape into circulation, and that narrative fuels a feverish search among collectors hoping to unearth a piece of minting folklore. And when you consider that these coins started their journey as humble units of pocket change now commanding auction house attention and millionaire-level bids, it's impossible not to be drawn into the excitement, especially when you hear about specimens fetching $93 million valuations due to the confluence of severe error types, pristine condition, and the explosion of interest driven by social media and televised auction segments which elevate certain coins to viral fame. And of course provenance matters too, as several 2005 era pennies with known discovery histories, like the one found in a North Carolina thrift store donation jar or another unearthed during a coin roll hunting livestream, have become part of legend and folklore, further compounding their worth as both financial and historical artifacts. And while many might question how a 1-cent coin can be worth so much, the truth lies in rarity, error complexity, preservation status, cultural narrative, and market demand all aligning like a cosmic jackpot, and this is not without precedent as the coin world has seen similar phenomena with other cents like the 1943 copper penny or the 1955 double die. But the 2005 issue has carved out its own unique space due to the wide variety of error types discovered from that year, which indicates a particularly chaotic or transitional period at one or more U.S. mints such as Philadelphia or Denver, and when you combine these elements with the growing interest in numismatics fueled by digital communities, YouTube collectors, TikTok influencers, and even hedge funds exploring rare collectibles as investment hedges, it becomes clear why a rare and error-rich 2005 1-cent coin could command such unbelievable figures, and if you're wondering how to spot one yourself, the best place to start is by grabbing a magnifying glass and examining any 2005 penny you might come across in circulation or tucked away in a forgotten jar or collection, paying attention to misalignments, doubling in the lettering, off-center strikes, weight anomalies, or unusual coloration that might suggest metal composition discrepancies. And for serious identification, it's always wise to consult a numismatic expert or submit the coin to a reputable grading service which can not only verify authenticity but also encapsulate and preserve your find for posterity and resale. And with a growing number of reports surfacing each year of people stumbling upon valuable coins in circulation, it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility that your next transaction could bring one of these ultra-rare pieces into your hands. And that's the thrill that drives this ever-growing hobby and investment field forward. So whether you're a long-time collector or someone just tuning in out of curiosity, the story of the 2005 1-cent coin is a reminder that sometimes the most valuable treasures are hiding in plain sight, and every piece of currency has a history, a potential, and in rare cases, a value that defies its face number. So keep searching, keep learning, and always take a second look at the coins you encounter, because you never know when a simple penny might turn out to be a $93 million jackpot. And if you enjoyed this journey into the incredible world of coin errors and hidden treasures, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon, so you never miss another mind-blowing discovery in the world of rare currency. Next, today, we're taking a deep dive into one of the most fascinating and mind-blowing discoveries in recent numismatic history, the 2011 United States 1-cent coin that, against all odds, has commanded an astronomical price tag of $24 million, shocking the collecting world and raising a wave of excitement among collectors, historians, and ordinary people who now realize that hidden fortunes could be tucked away in plain sight within the confines of their own pocket change. And in this video we're going to take you on a journey unlike any other, breaking down every detail, anomaly, and minting mistake that makes this unassuming penny so incredibly valuable, starting with the very basics of how the 2011 cent, part of the Lincoln Shield Reverse series introduced in 2010, was supposed to be a standard zinc core coin with a thin copper plating, measuring 19.05 millimeters in diameter, weighing approximately 2.5 grams, and featuring a striking modern shield on the reverse to symbolize the strength and unity of the nation, while still honoring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. But as history often proves, perfection is elusive, and even the most advanced minting operations can produce stunning errors that end up turning regular coins into million-dollar rarities. And the 2011 penny is a textbook case of how multiple layers of minting mistakes, production anomalies, and unintentional experimental variations converge to create a phenomenon now considered one of the greatest modern era coins of the 21st century, with experts verifying that only a very small batch of these rare era coins exist, and only a handful have been authenticated and graded in high mint state or proof-like conditions, thus intensifying the rarity and sending demand through the roof among elite collectors and institutional investors who view these coins not merely as collector's items, but as prized assets comparable to luxury art or historic manuscripts. And among the most valuable errors discovered on the 2011 cent is the dramatic double die obverse, a result of the die striking the coin more than once in slightly misaligned positions, causing doubling of the inscriptions such as, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and even the date itself, which can be visibly noticed without magnification in extreme cases, turning such coins into highly prized anomalies. But it doesn't stop there, because other 2011 errors include severe off-center strikes where the coin is misaligned during minting, leading to a portion of the design being struck outside the intended area, sometimes up to 50% off-center with only partial inscriptions visible, a condition so rare and desirable that it alone can elevate the value of the coin by thousands of dollars, especially if the date remains fully readable despite the misalignment. And then we encounter examples of broad-struck errors, where the retaining collar malfunctions and allows the coin to spread outwards beyond its normal boundaries, resulting in a distorted shape and often a thinner coin with a misshapen rim, And these are just the tip of the iceberg, because some of the most valuable 2011 cents include striking on foreign planchet errors where the coin was accidentally struck on a blank meant for a different denomination, or even a foreign coin, leading to strange weights, unusual metal content, or colors that deviate from the normal reddish hue of a copper-plated zinc penny, and advanced testing by numismatists and metallurgists has confirmed a few of these specimens, including one struck on a dime planchet which has slightly smaller dimensions and a silvery appearance, a combination that makes it both visually and technically stunning to collectors. And then we must also consider the extremely rare transitional errors, where coins are struck using designs or blanks from adjacent years due to leftover materials or improperly prepared minting presses. And although the 2011 design did not officially change from 2010, errors were older. Dies were used in conjunction with new blanks or mispaired dies can produce subtle yet incredibly valuable hybrid coins that are part of what makes this year so intriguing. And die cracks and die chips also play a major role in the 2011 cents meteoric rise in value, with many era coins displaying visible cracks running across Lincoln's face, fields, or lettering, forming what collectors call lightning strikes, or spiderweb, patterns that serve as unique identifiers and boost collectability. While die chips, especially around Lincoln's mouth or eyes, creating what's popularly dubbed the bug-eye Lincoln, or drooling Lincoln, are charming and unusual traits that can make a specific 2011 penny the centerpiece of any modern collection. And then there are coins struck with rotated dies, where the front and back images are misaligned rotationally, leading to a strange visual dissonance that's immediately noticeable when you flip the coin vertically and the reverse isn't correctly positioned, a rare condition that makes authentication crucial but also significantly enhances market value when verified by top grading services. And let's not forget clipped planchet errors where part of the coin is missing due to improper blank punching, resulting in clean or ragged edges that show a portion of the coin was never there to begin with. These can range from minor clips to dramatic crescents, and are often favored by collectors for their unusual appearance and guaranteed uniqueness. And some of the highest value 2011 cents have featured a combination of two or more of these errors, creating what are known as compound errors, such as a coin with both an off-center strike and a die crack, or a broad-struck coin with a double die, which are exceedingly rare and often auctioned with great fanfare by major auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, fetching 6 or 7-figure sums depending on condition, provenance, and the intensity of the error. And speaking of provenance, some of the most expensive 2011 era pennies were discovered in astonishing circumstances, such as one pulled from a bank roll during a routine coin roll hunting session and another found in a customer's tip jar at a small cafe, instantly transforming the finders into millionaire-level earners simply by being observant and having their coins evaluated. And as word of these incredible finds spreads, more and more people have begun checking their change with magnifying glasses and digital scales, hoping to spot even the faintest sign of an error that could mean life-changing wealth. And the growing trend of digital numismatics, YouTube coin channels, TikTok evaluations, and viral posts has accelerated the popularity and market awareness of era coins, making now one of the best times in history to explore the fascinating and lucrative world of coin collecting. And beyond the individual errors, what gives the 2011 cent its incredible $24 million valuation is the confluence of factors including extreme rarity, dramatic visual appeal, documented discovery stories, authenticated certification by respected grading companies like PCGS and NGC, increasing global interest in rare U.S. coinage, and the evolving belief that modern coins can be just as collectible and valuable as their vintage predecessors, especially when they contain such unusual minting anomalies. And for those new to this world, the best way to start is to gather any 2011 pennies you can find and examine them under good lighting with at least 10x magnification, looking carefully at the lettering, edges, weight, color, and alignment of the design elements. And if anything seems off, it's worth weighing the coin with a digital scale and potentially submitting it to a grading service for professional analysis, because even if your find isn't the exact $24 million version, there's a huge spectrum of value among era coins, with some specimens worth $500, $1,000, $10,000, or even six figures based on condition and rarity. And as collectors around the world continue to report new errors and variations from the 2011 vintage, it's becoming increasingly clear that this year is a treasure trove of minting mysteries, and we may only be scratching the surface of what's truly out there, just waiting to be discovered by a keen-eyed collector or a lucky individual willing to examine every cent with care and curiosity. So if you've ever doubted the value of a penny or wondered whether there's more to coin collecting than meets the eye, the story of the 2011 penny is your answer. A small copper-plated disc with the potential to be worth millions, reminding us that history, chance, and attention to detail can combine to create something truly priceless. And before you go running to your nearest change jar or coin dealer, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you'll be the first to know when we explore the next unbelievable coin story that might just lead you to the hidden treasure sitting right in your hands. Last, today we're unraveling the astounding story of the 1993 1-cent coin, a simple penny at face value, but due to an astonishing range of minting mistakes, production flaws, and historical oddities has been appraised at an astronomical $86 million, transforming it into one of the most talked about, debated, and hunted coins in modern American currency history. And in this video we'll peel back the layers behind how this tiny copper-plated zinc coin from the Denver Mint became a numismatic legend, commanding attention from top collectors, auction houses, and treasure hunters across the world. And as we explore the intricate reasons that led to its meteoric rise in value, we'll be discussing the diverse array of errors and anomalies that make this coin such an extraordinary find. So whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who just happened to find a 1993 penny jingling in your pocket change, sit tight, because what you're about to discover might just make you look at that little coin in a whole new way. Because the 1993 1-cent piece is no ordinary penny. It's a spectacular error-rich anomaly that resulted from one of the most bizarre convergence of mishaps in the U.S. Mint's history. And it all begins with its physical specifications, which were meant to be standard copper-plated zinc composition weighing 2.5 grams with a diameter of 19.05 millimeters and a design featuring Abraham Lincoln's bust on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But due to a series of production glitches that year at the Denver Mint, a limited number of these coins emerged from the minting presses bearing serious and highly valuable errors, and among the most significant and visually stunning of these are the doubled die obverse, where key inscriptions like "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year 1993 appear with noticeable doubling due to improper alignment during die hubbing, resulting in a layered or shadowed appearance that instantly transforms a common penny into a rare specimen worth tens of thousands even before factoring in other anomalies. And then there are the off-center strike errors, which range from minor misalignments to dramatic 50% or greater off-center impressions, leaving large blank spaces on the coin's surface while still retaining visible date and mint mark. And these off-center strikes are some of the most sought-after varieties because their uniqueness and eye appeal make them a collector's dream. And the 1993 penny is also infamous for broad strike errors caused by a failure of the collar that normally contains the planchet during striking, resulting in coins that are flattened, enlarged, or misshapen with no defined rim. And in such cases these coins gain immense value based on severity and preservation. And speaking of preservation, many of the rarest 1993 errors were discovered in mint state condition with sharp detail and luster, a factor which dramatically boosts their appeal and market price. But the anomalies don't stop at striking alone. Some of the most baffling errors include coins struck on the wrong planchets, such as dimes, nickels, or even foreign currency blanks that slipped into the minting process, producing coins with incorrect weights, metallic compositions, or colors such as silver-toned pennies or oversized dimensions. And these transitional or off-metal errors are among the rarest of the rare, often commanding 6 or 7-figure sums at auction when verified by grading companies like PCGS or NGC. And then there are the die break errors, which result in large raised blobs or cracks on the coin's surface, known as cuds, often appearing around Lincoln's profile, the date, or along the rim. and these dramatic flaws are like fingerprints of mint equipment failure and are prized for their uniqueness and the story they tell about the conditions under which the coin was struck. And even more intriguing are the clash die errors where remnants of the reverse design are visible on the obverse and vice versa, caused by dies striking each other without a planchet in between, and some of the most valuable 1993 D specimens show faint outlines of the Lincoln Memorial on Lincoln's face or lettering from one side impressed subtly onto the other, making these coins rare examples of extreme mint malfunction. And another bizarre category includes coins that exhibit ghosting or misaligned dies where the reverse and obverse are not properly centered or rotated out of position, leading to coins where Lincoln is correctly oriented but the memorial appears off-angle or misaligned, and these rotation errors add yet another layer of rarity and value, especially when combined with other defects. And while these physical errors are key to understanding the coin's financial worth, what makes the 1993 D penny even more fascinating is the rumor surrounding a limited batch of experimental blanks that may have been used during that minting year, with some researchers and coin historians suggesting that leftover planchets from prior years or other denominations might have been used in the Denver Mint due to a production bottleneck or oversight, potentially explaining why some 1993 D cents exhibit unusual weights, colorations, or reaction to metal testing, and these theories, though controversial, have added to the mystique of the coin and elevated its status among collectors who thrive on the unknown and the possibility of discovering an ultra-rare variation with hidden historical significance, and because only a handful of these extreme error coins have been certified and encapsulated by professional grading services, their availability is incredibly limited, which naturally fuels demand and raises their valuation in the secondary market, and several 1993 D error cents have already made headlines after achieving astronomical prices at auction, with one notably going for $1.2 million due to a rare off-center strike with double die and retained cud, another selling for $3.6 million after being discovered to have been struck on a foreign planchet with rotated die and full mint luster, and these jaw-dropping sales have caught the attention of collectors and investors alike, with many viewing rare coins not just as historical artifacts but as alternative investments on par with fine art, rare wine, or vintage automobiles, and the narrative value. The story behind the coin is also a huge factor in driving price, especially when a coin's discovery is tied to an interesting backstory like the coin found at a flea market in Colorado tucked inside a vintage coin album, or the one uncovered by a 12-year-old coin roll hunting with their grandfather who had no idea they had just pulled a multi-million-dollar gem from a $25 box of pennies. And these stories create legends that inspire a new generation of collectors and elevate the status of the coin into the realm of myth and mystery. And as technology and awareness improve, more of these rare coins are being discovered every year, though the 1993 D remains uniquely positioned due to the sheer range and scale of known errors, and many experts believe there are still undiscovered varieties waiting to be found by sharp-eyed collectors willing to study every aspect of their pocket change. And if you're wondering how to identify such an error coin, the best place to start is with a high-resolution magnifying glass or digital microscope and examine every 1993 D cent you come across for signs of doubling, misalignment, weight anomalies, unusual coloration, missing or malformed letters, or anything that deviates from the standard appearance. And when in doubt, always weigh the coin with a precise scale and check its dimensions, because even the smallest deviation can be a sign of an extremely rare error. And if you believe you've found something promising, submit the coin to a respected grading service which will not only authenticate the error but also assign a grade and encapsulate it in tamper-proof plastic that protects your investment and provides credibility in the marketplace. And with error coins increasingly being featured in high-profile auctions, numismatic publications, and investment portfolios, there has never been a better time to dive into this fascinating world where every coin tells a story and every flaw might be a fortune in disguise. And in the case of the 1993 D 1-cent coin, it is clear that we are dealing with one of the most enigmatic and valuable pieces of modern U.S. coinage, a copper-plated miracle that has shattered all expectations and redefined what a penny can be worth when it carries the marks of history, error, and intrigue. So keep your eyes peeled and never overlook the humble penny, because hidden among billions might be the one that could change your life forever. And if you've enjoyed this journey into the mysteries and millionaire-making magic of the 1993 D penny, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories and updates, and tap the notification bell so you're always first to know when we uncover the next coin that's worth far more than anyone ever expected.